You touched on something that I reference a lot on this podcast, which is it generally takes tragedy for us to unite and slow down, right? Like if you remember after 9/11, everybody was like, yo, like everybody's like,
100%,
right? And then COVID at the start for sure. Everybody was like, yo, what's going on? Before all the mass divisiveness and all that stuff,
for sure.
Right? But it's kind of sad that, you know, we as humans kind of need some type of tragedy to.
Yeah, I just think we take a lot, as humans, we take a lot of things for granted. You take aspects of life, you get comfortable, you know, and you just forget. So.
Yeah, autopilot.
It reminds us, you know what I'm saying? Tragedy reminds us.
But what would life be? How good would a movie be without that? You know what I mean? You have to have that. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be a good movie. It'd be if everything was, it's like, okay, you have to have the antagonists and the things that, you know, that you have to overcome. So that's how I look at it.
It's like seasoning for your food, man. You don't want to have bland food.
Exactly. Bland life. Yeah.
Oh, man.
For sure.
All right, so the Jeen-Yuhs doc, you did in 3 parts, right?
Yep.
And so I was like, what if I organized this interview in three quick parts we could beat?
Okay.
So you had the vision, the purpose, and the awakening, right? So I got some questions about the Jeen-Yuhs documentary. And then post-documentary, and then the third part, what I'm calling is the beautiful struggle.
Yeah, fire.
Because the struggle is beautiful, man.
Always.
It's like where we just came from. You put in 20 plus years putting this thing together, right? And then there was some Hollywood executives are like, all right, we need an answer by next Thursday or everything's off. And I'm like, how can you tell somebody to put 21 years to like jam and make this decision in 3 days? Like that's crazy to me. Can you talk us through some of those feelings and stuff maybe that you were feeling? Just expound on it.
I mean, it was just like, I just knew that with me and Chike and the work that we do, it ain't for money first. You know what I mean? We do it because we want to, inspire people or, show people another way or whatever. And we understand that God is doing it all. So when they was coming with those type of numbers first with money, it was some nice numbers they was coming with as well. And they like, by Friday, you have to make this decision. I'm like, well, we ain't doing it for the money. So guess what? We'll wait. You know what I mean? We have to wait until we feel like you're the right partner for this project and it's going to treat this project how we know it needs to be treated because we did it. We did it for the dreamers, it wasn't a thing about me, Kanye, or Chike, or whoever. It was all for the dreamers, and then I was like, well, we just will wait. And people were like, but they got this amount, and they just couldn't bully us. You know what I mean? Nobody could bully us. We had a different kind of, partnership.
Were you able to have that kind of strength and resolve before that situation? Because you were doing other deals before the Jeen-Yuhs doc, right? So have you always carried yourself that way? Like, we know our worth, we know our value, and we're not going to kind of like...
Yeah, it's pretty much been our MO. That's how our name kind of came about for Creative Control. But because we had before been put in a position where we felt like the integrity of our work got compromised, and it was to no other fault. I mean, ultimately, it's to our fault because we let that happen. But, we just realized and learned quickly. You don't have to learn twice. I say, we were just talking about this the other day. Like, you fooled me once. George Bush once said it one time. He said, you fooled me once. Shame on me. You fooled me twice.
No, he said, you fooled me twice. Well, you fooled me once, you'll never fool me again. He said, you fooled me once, you'll never fool me again. And that's the best thing ever.
Yeah, that's a bar.
That's a bar. Who had that?
Somebody had it. We heard it. We didn't get it from George Bush. We heard it from somebody had it in their rhyme. They had it in their song. They sampled it. But we're firm believers of that. So we decided to put ourselves in a position where we're not going to let other people take the integrity of our work and misconceive it to fit their agenda. You know what I mean?
Man, we got a lot of artists and creatives that tune in. Like, how important is that message to put out there?
Oh,
man. It's everything. As an artist, we do art. That's we're not the type of people that are going to just get up in a podium and galvanize a crowd of 3,000 people with just like our speech, But I do believe we stand for certain things and we use our art and the medium of storytelling for us to get a message out. Yeah. And a lot of our message just deals with empathy. You know what I mean? We try to, we tell stories that are hugely in parts connected to our culture, our upbringing, where we come from, in efforts to educate others that aren't so familiar with that part of the culture, and to celebrate within the culture stories and that we all know and don't get that much light of day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
But for us, it's an effort to have a global conversation. So, we all can clearly have a better understanding of one another. If we create empathy, then there's more chances that I more like love you like a brother. And if I love you like a brother, I don't want to see harm happen to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we need more of that in the world. Just
big time.
You know, across races, across genders, across.
I call this connection is magic for a reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You guys got very good with your craft, and another message that it bears repeating for the listeners is like the scrapes and the bruises that it takes to get good at your craft, man. Am I right? Like you have to fall down, you have to mess up, you have to do terrible work. You know what I'm saying? Like if you listen to some of the early Drake stuff, I mean, Drake is a pretty good spitter, I think. And like if you listen to the early Drake, like it's like night and day to me.
Yeah, and Michael Jordan says it often too. You know what I mean? All the losses is why you know he succeeds. He's all the shots he missed, and you have to add. You won't learn really. Think about it.
The calm seas never made a skilled captain.
Right.
You know? So
100%.
like, that's
a great one. Yeah.
So Coodie, you dropped everything, right, to go follow around an unknown Kanye West, pretty much, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's a part of the storytelling. You have to tell a story. You know, I ain't just say I was still doing comedy. I had to make some money, so But in the storytelling of it, I dropped it all, and I haven't went back to doing comedy stand up since then. So
that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
One of my other favorite quotes, which applies here, is "You're considered a fool until you're considered a genius." You know, and so people might have seen like, "Yo, what are you dropping? What are you?" You know,
promise,
like,
everybody used to come to me and say, "Why you?" Because you know we had Channel Zero, so we was around all this, you know, celebrities, Snoop,
Method Man,
Wu-Tang, you know what I'm saying?
And that was like the golden era of hip hop, right? Like I was in high school for you're talking about Nas, Outkast, like all that stuff, right? Yeah.
And now here I am following this kid, you know, who produced great, an amazing producer, but you know, it seemed like they didn't see what I saw in him. You know what I mean? I'm like, y'all don't see this? Y'all don't see who this dude is? And that was, you're right, because they was definitely calling me a fool. Like, you traveling with him, you moving to New York with, like, huh? I said, watch, he gonna win Grammys. And he did.
Moral of the story is when you feel it, go with it. Like, you gotta go with it, you know?
And don't think about, I think Henry Ford, they said he was building a car in his garage. He bought a car and was in his garage, taking it apart, building it, taking it. They thought he was a fool, and now you got Ford Motor Company, you know what I mean? And I think all these geniuses, and we all geniuses though.
We're all geniuses at something.
Yeah, if you understand your passion and move on it and your purpose in life, and it might be you're a genius at, you know, fixing, you're a plumber, you know what I'm saying? But you're a genius in that in your own right for doing that.